For Engineering News, I'm Gia Costella. Rob Pietersma, Chairman of the South African Fasteners Manufacturers Association, joins me in studio to talk about the state of the fasteners industry in South Africa. Welcome, Rob. Rob, please take us briefly through the state of the South African fasteners industry and the future outlook.
Okay, so things have not been easy over the last few years. I think while there was been relative stability up until about 2008, when we had the world economic meltdown, the fastener industry in South Africa was also affected. I think we've seen a situation where there's been relative rand strength. The result of that has been that exports have not been an area of opportunity and has been an area of decline. In the local industry in South Africa, not only have we experienced a situation where there's been a decline in volumes, but there has also been an increase in imports from the East, primarily China. And this is where we have been focusing a lot of our energies most recently in terms of trying to get a handle on that situation. Our first step was to really get a better insight into where the imports were coming from by expanding the tariff heading codes. That enabled us to more clearly identify the particular areas that were affecting us. And we were very successful during 2011 to increase the dumping duty on bolts from the 30% to 55%, and on nuts up to 122%. And this year we've had also recent success in being able to get a dumping duty on set screws. And set screws is an area where they are really fully threaded bolts and were used as substitute for bolts. And importers really took advantage of that situation and have penetrated quite significantly into our markets. So we see this as an area of success. It is a preliminary duty. It expires in November, but by then hopefully we would have addressed all the areas which will be raised to ensure that we are able to defend that. The area of growth in the South African economy has been in the area of power station build, and that's where the industry as a whole has benefited. But in spite of that area of growth, the industry has still experienced decline because of imports. I think that together with the improvement in the rand situation, in other words, a weaker rand, together with these dumping duties, I think that South African manufacturing can enjoy some growth going into the future. And I think the nice thing is that it also dovetails with the recent announcement by government, by the DTI, of the Manufacturing Competitive Enhancement Program, where we see some benefits going into manufacturing, which will, I think, increase the opportunities to increase employment. Whereas we've seen employment decline over many, many years in the industry, I think we're now at a turning point where we can start seeing some job increases. And I think that's really where South Africa needs to head.
Great, thanks, Rob. That was Rob Pietersma talking about the state of the South African fasteners industry.